Hello. Today's video is going to be on the notation of fighting checkers. This should be a pretty short video because this is a very simple game. Alright, you can get this game on the Game Crafter site. It's Fighting Checkers, an upgrade to checkers and international droughts, invented by Tony Berard. And where did my other sheet go? If you go to www.thegamecrafter.com, you can put in a search for this game here, Fighting Checkers, and you can get this game. So, well, this is for a card game I invented. If you watch my videos, you'll know. Actually, it's for a couple different card games. Let's see. Guess I got the overhead lights blaring down. You can see the reflection in the board. Alright, so I'm going to grab a little pile of white checkers and black checkers and show you the notation. Alright, let's say we have a piece here. This is on the square D4. And so suppose we move, since this is white has to go in that direction to go towards black. And so there's three forward directions, that way, and that way. So if this piece wants to move from D4, it can move to C5, D5, or E5 for a one-space move, or it could move to B6, D6, or F6. And so if you were to write that move, first you have the move number. Let's say this is move number 1. You could write D4 dash F6. That would be a vacant hop from D4 to F6, like so. And then the piece is sitting there afterwards. It starts out, this is the from square. And this is the to square. Now suppose this piece was to jump, say, this piece. Then that gets notated. So this is, well, let's start it on a different square just so you can see some variety. Let's say that was on F4. So F4, well, let's say it jumps to F6. You would notate that F4 F6, and then you could say times F5. This last part here is optional. You don't even have to write that. If you just wrote the from square and the to square, that would be plenty, because it's understood that the opposing piece jumped over got captured. But if one wants to be totally complete, and this would leave no misunderstandings that the piece on F5 got captured. And you can have a series of jumps. Let's say we had this. Here. Let's say we had that. Alright, so with this piece on white starts on C2. Oh, what's going on here? Let's say we had that. I had an extra piece on there, so I just changed it. So let's say we had this piece on E1. And so you could see a path of jumping here, E1 to C3 to C5 to C7 to E9. And so you would notate that. Let's say that was move 3. So this would be E1 to C3. Then you write another dash, C5 dash C7 dash E9. And you could write times 3 to indicate 3 pieces were captured. And so that would be one of the moves. Clearly that's a multi-jump. The only time you can have multiple, this was the from, and then the to, the to, the to, the to. So, you know, this is a from, and that's a to. This is a from, and that's a to. This is a from, and that's a to. So at the end of each jump, the to becomes the next from, and so on until you get to the last to. And this is the end spot, E9. So this would look like E1 to C3. And since a friendly piece was jumped over, it stays on the board. And then the next jump would be to C5. And this piece gets removed and set off the board. And then in the game, you can take your hand off of this piece and, take your hand off the piece, grab the opposing piece and set it off the board. Then re-grab your piece and go C5 to C7. And then take your hand off your piece and set this piece off the board. And then C7 to C9. Take your hand off the piece, grab your opposing piece and set it off the board. And so now there's just these 2 white pieces on the board. If that was an actual game, that would be a win, because now black has no pieces. You can see the board is vacant of black pieces. And so, this Modern Colors Bridge, a new card game, that's one of my card games. That's one of my new card games. I invent board games and card games. I just invented a new board game just a couple days ago called Dice Chess. I'll be making more videos. I just ordered a new Dice Chess set. It should be here in a week or 2, and then I'll be making videos on it. So, but anyway, so this is how you would notate a multi-jump. And so that's for single things. If you're to do more than one thing on a turn, let's say white was in this position, C4 and D4. You could move to these 2 guys up like that. So that would be C4, C5, and D4, D5. And you would write that like this. C4, C5, comma, D4, D5. And that would be, the first turn would be C4, C5. And the second turn, it's a different piece. You just can't move the same piece twice on the same turn in fighting checkers. And so this is a different checker, and so it did that. Then after white's move, you'd put a colon to signify the break between what white did and what black is going to do. And we can say black, let's say black had 2 guys here. Black might want to move these guys up 1 each, like so, and that would be C8, C7. I believe that's 8 and 7, yep, C8, C7. So black would notate C8, C7, comma, D8, D7, like so. So now these two pieces are in this position. And it isn't possible to, with this, for this piece to advance. Even if one tried to move something like this, it still exposes it to capture along here. But you can do the vacant hops. And so it's not going to get captured, and then this can go on to promote. And one can do a vacant hop this way and go on to promote. So it's still, you know, in regular checkers, I suppose this would be a really bad deal. Although you wouldn't have a piece on white and black, maybe you'd have this. This would be really bad in regular checkers, because then anything you did, boop. And now, I guess it's free, but it cost a piece to get that guy free. So there's a lot more possibility in this game, which is why I invented it. Alright, I guess that's about it. Oh, if you want to promote a piece, you don't even need to notate that. Suppose you had this. This is D8. So suppose we had D8 to D10. So you would write D8, D10. But because this got to the final rank, it becomes a promotion automatically. And so the person would get a new crown piece and replace it, like so. And so, but it did not need to be notated that the promotion occurred. So, and that's about it. This is Tony Berard signing off.